Hello guys, it's Will from Ripon City Wargamers. We've had a couple of requests. I think there's going to be quite a lot of these anyway, but this is just my tournament review for Ardacon 2017. We've got lots of thank yous to make. I wasn't supposed to be going to the event, and it was by the kindness of strangers and friends that let me go, so I really appreciate that. But first of all, it'll be an apology. I'm really bad with names, and I left my score sheet there, so I can't remember some of my opponents' names, but I'll describe the games in detail and the people. So hopefully you'll be able to identify yourselves. Wow, it was absolutely incredible. I left a fair bit of feedback on last year, and I think it was the same as a lot of people, regarding sort of the pace of the tournament and the scenery and things like that, and everything was fixed this year. It was absolutely brilliant. We started on the Friday with Chaos in Arda, and that was fantastic. I've always loved the way that works. It's a good icebreaker for people, especially with so many people from different places. It's good to get everyone together and sort of make everything a bit random and pair people that wouldn't normally play. So for that I took Dane on Pig, an Iron Hills Chariot and 3 Goat Riders, because why not? I played this from Rotterdam White Scars. I played a lad from Wargamers Association of Reading. I played Alex Brackner from Team Knots, and I think that was it. Yeah, that's 4 players. And so amongst them they had Guahir and a couple of Eagles, they had a Gundabad Captain with some Ogres and a big Gundabad Troll, and we had Tauri and some Merkle Rangers. So it was a really cool Battle of 5 Armies themed game. It was carnage. It's a really good scenario with all the random rules and weather changes and things like that. So that was absolutely incredible. I lost by 2 VPs as well, which is a bit of a shame. The Chariot ran over 2 Eagles, which was really good fun. Smashed them both. It then died, unfortunately, and it ended with Guahir and an Eagle versus Dane that was unwounded. Didn't end well for Dane. I thought he might have put up a bit more of a fight, but they won the first fight and just killed him outright, so that was a bit depressing. But that was really good fun. Following that, we did doubles, the doubles tournament. Again, really good fun. I played with Ryan Hinch, my mate from Nottingham. I took Gundabad Captain, 3 Ogres and 8 Berserkers, and he took Sharku, Ugluk, I think it was 6 Ferals, 6 Berserkers and 6 Crossbows with Pike from Isengard. So it was a bit of a brutal list. The doubles was somewhere between sort of friendly and competitive. Play friendly, take competitive is the way we do things. First game we played Ed Ball and Barney Menzies, which is not what you want. Game 1. They had about 50 orcs and a shade and Kardush. Scenario was to the death, I think, and they just absolutely smashed us. Shades are really good, who knew? And Kardush was really on point. A lot of people underestimate the Flame Blast and don't think it's very good. But on 2 occasions there was an Ogre down to 1 wound and he won priority, and Kardush just did him. And obviously, if nothing else, that leaves a massive ogre-sized base for orcs to pour through. So we got a real curb stomping in that game. The game after that, we played 2 lovely gentlemen from Team Diva from Cheshire. We thought we were going to get smashed again because they had it was Groblog, a Gundabad Shaman and a normal Shaman. 30 Gundabad Black Shields, and then Witch King and Knight of Umbar and Fellbeast, which is a tournament list. Like, you know, that is a fairly solid list. You would, if you took that to a 700 point game, you'd expect to do quite well with it. A lot of players have. And that was domination. We got quite fortunate in a lot of occasions in that game. It was really good fun, really well spirited. Had a good old chit chat with the lads. And in the first turn, I think 5 hurls went off. The 3 ogres all got to hurl, and the 2 fell beasts. And I think we took the hit on that. Lost quite a few berserkers. The Gundabad berserkers had sort of scattered off with their really good move to all the objectives. And we won the roll off the next turn. And a couple of sort of standout moments was the Gundabad Shaman failing to shatter anything. So that was quite fortunate. 2 Gundabad Berserkers killing a fresh Knight of Umbar all by themselves. Just won the fight, piercing sprint and just chopped him down, so that was quite fun. and the Witch King flying over into our leader, who was between two ogres, and both the ogres barged when they won their combat, barged into the Witch King, and then just put a massive amount of hits on him and brought him down eventually. So we won that one quite comfortably, I think, because we were on 4 objectives. But that was a really fun game. It was brutal. There was I think we were both nearly broken after a couple of turns. But obviously the berserkers just sort of did the work after that and sort of chopped through. But that was a really good fun game. And then in our final game, we played. Oh no, it's escaped me. Don't know. That's gone, unfortunately. I'll probably remember at some point. But that was a good fun game as well. We enjoyed all 3, but we got curb stomped in heads. We won the other 2 games. It will come back to me, so I do apologise to my opponents for that. I've just got a really bad memory and I haven't had a lot of sleep. And then we had a really nice evening. We had the Middle Earth team give us a bit of a presentation, so that was really enjoyable. Lots of it was more of a retrospective than things to look forward to. But that's always nice. We can't thank the guys enough for what they've brought. If you imagine where we were 2 years ago, thinking that, you know, it was going to be the end and it would just be the GBHL and all the models that have come out, the new rule book, the experimental army list that they've put forward for Throne of Skulls is a good sign for the future. You know, so they're going to go back and explore Osgiliath and the Pelennor Field. Really, really exciting time to be part of the game. Especially this community, and they're supporting the community by doing these events. It's just brilliant, and it was nice to take a look back over all of that and see where we've come from and what sort of just a reminder of what's been released since. Yeah, so that was really good fun, and we all sort of had a couple of drinks on the evening. It was a really good time. It was nice this year because of the way the sort of schedule worked last year, we didn't really get a chance to actually sit down and socialise. But this year we did on both evenings, and it was really, really nice to just sort of catch up with people, because there was 120 odd people at the tournament. And a common thing that people will tell you with these tournaments is you make a lot of friends, and you might see them once or twice a year, but they are friends. Like you'll see them, and it's normally either a handshake or a hug, and you can just chat about everything. You know, how's the wife, how's the kids, how's the job, and you can't really do that in any other place. It's weird, really bizarre, but I mean, if that's as bizarre as it gets, it's got to be a good thing. So we had a really nice sort of chilled evening, got a bit merry, as to be expected. I was staying with the Knots lads, so it's going to go one or 2 ways. So that was really good fun. So the GT, the reason we were all there, it was very, very intense, very hard. I took an Azog's Hunters list pure, so I got the army bonus, which for anyone that doesn't know, it's +1 shoot value for everything in the army and 50% bows. So what I took was Fimble, Narzug and Yazneg, the 3 hunters I call them, 2 hunter orc captains, and it was about 42 hunter orcs and 6 fell wargs. So it was 23 bows including the heroes, and I had a warhorn and a banner as well, so it was a lot of models, a lot of bow shots. I'm fairly good with hunter orcs. I've used them quite a lot. I know how to use them. I know what their flaws are. So I was quite confident going into it. My aim for the tournament was to come top 20, because there's a lot of competitors there. Anyone that is any good at the game was going. So I'd have been really happy with the top 20 placing. And I was also there for the team event. For anyone that doesn't know, you can have up to 9 players in your team. You can't take the same named hero as anyone else in your team, so we've got quite a lot of diversity in the armies across the tournament, which is really nice. You didn't have the same sort of dual Felbies, Morannons that you get at a normal tournament, so that was quite refreshing, and well played to James for coming up with that. And yeah, it was really, really tough. Game 1, and this is where the names betray me. I played a really lovely Canadian bloke that came over. It was Lords of Battle, the first scenario, and he had Harad, Golden King, Taskmaster, Betrayer on horse, and then I think it was about like a 50-50 mix of Watchers of Karna and Fat Boys, with a couple of Serpent Guard. But then he had a front line of Half Trolls and Black Numenorians, which were the Fight 5 ones, Castellan of Umbar, I think. Which is bad news for me. Even with the Warhorn, I'm only courage 3. Courage 2 with the Betrayer, and anyone that hasn't come up against half trolls is, you have no idea how awful they are. I had the shooting advantage, and so I let him come at me. In 40 bow shots over 2 turns of shooting, I killed 2 models, which, what can you do about that? And then I managed to jump one flank with Fimble and Yasneg into 2 Terracors each, and they killed both of them each. They both heroic struck, both won the fights, killed both. And that sort of collapsed that one flank. There was no terror there, so the Hunter Rocks could just pounce. And I won that, I think, 10-0. Because I managed to kill the Betrayer in the last turn, and I nearly tabled him, to be fair. It was a really, really brutal game. His dice were not on point at all. Mine were, and with Hunter Orcs, and as you'll get as a general trend through my tournament sort of run through, Hunter Orcs are amazing. They will either kill or be killed. If they win the fight, they will kill that model. If they don't, they'll die. But I mean, that's the way they are. That's the gamble you take. Fight 3's meh. 2 attack strength, 4 for 8 points is just awesome, really, really good. So I won that game, up to the lofty heights of table 1, so it must have been 12-0, I won 12-0. Up to the lofty heights of table 1, where I played my very good friend and arch nemesis Ed Ball. It's 4 Fell Beasts, you'll know the Flying Circus. I hate playing it. It's a nightmare and you never really know what to do, and Ed always knows what to do, so it's really tough. We drew Recon, so it swung heavily in my favour, my 52 models versus his 4, but he is the master of winning the games he's not supposed to win. If you come against Ed in Lords of Battle, it's a dead cert that he's won. He'd be very unfortunate not to. There are documented cases where he has lost at that, but they're not common. But the issue is he plays less hard in that game because he knows he's won. With Recon, he will win that game, and when he has no right to do so, and that shows how good of a player he is, unfortunately. But I think even he will be big enough to admit that my dice betrayed me massively, and he admitted it on the day. I mean, I'll never say that. Well, I will say, because it hurts my feelings, it's my coping mechanism, but I can't really say that only dice lose you games, because mistakes do happen. But bad dice will, put you at a significant disadvantage. So when turn 3, his Kamul and Felbeast charged the Hunter Orc Captain and a Warg, he failed to transfix the Hunter Orc Captain, and the Hunter Orc Captain struck. Went to higher fight value than Kamul. So I had 4 dice to win the fight at higher fight value with a mic point in my pocket, and I rolled a 2 highest, which he laughed and rolled higher than that. And killed him. If I'd have won that fight, I'd piercing struck as well, and with the 3 attacks on the Hunter Orc Captain, I should have, on average dice, with the piercing strike, killed a Fell Beast. And by that point, the dynamic of Ed's army changes completely, and I would have really put him on the back foot. And there was a couple of Fell Wargs on that side that would have got away. And I think that at that point, I'd lost the game. I know it was only turn 3, but that was such a heavy hit. And against the grain of what should have happened. One of Ed's quotes, I'm not sure if it's his, but what he said to me is sometimes all you need is average dice and a good plan to win a game, and if you can't even get your average dice, you're in real trouble. I got the Knight of Umbar down to 1 wound, no fate, but then failed to kill him for 5 turns straight. These things happen, but by that point he just went on a rampage, killed everything. I didn't get a single model off in the end, so I lost 5-0 there. Fair play to Ed. Best game we've played, I think. It wasn't particularly close, but I kept him fighting until the last model, which is what matters really. And we didn't argue. We normally argue quite a lot. We didn't in this case. So that was good. It wasn't an unenjoyable game, but better dice would have been a different result, I think. Game 3, I played a guy that had come all the way from Abu Dhabi to come and play. Really, really cool guy. And he had a Rohan, which is always fun. You don't see it too much, and it was proper Rohan. There was no wizards or anything. It was Erkenbrand, Eowyn, Eomer, Knight of the Pelennor, and it was a James Clark-esque warband build. So it was like 2 red shields, 2 outriders, a royal guard, and 2 suns. So like quite a nice varied army. And we played Hold Grounds, which is one of my favourite scenarios, and I'm quite good at Hold Ground. I don't, if you had to sort of pick a scenario, I don't generally lose at Hold Grounds. I haven't lost at it for a while. And James had changed Maelstrom for this tournament, in that instead of whoever wins priority goes first and deploys their army, you alternated warbands. And I really didn't like this, and this will go in feedback form. A lot of people think that they're at a disadvantage if they lose priority in standard Hold Ground and have to deploy their army first, because their opponent can react entirely. And to a degree that is true, but at least if you go first you can plan for that, and you can sort of, I don't know, build a fortress sort of in a corner, or you can, I don't know, you have the chance to bring your army on and make a plan from there. With alternate warbands, whoever has the most warbands wins, because you go, okay, well I'll go, and then you go, okay, well I'll go here, and you'll go, okay, well I'll go here, and you'll go, right, well I'll go here then. And the alternate, you know, it just means that you can't prepare for anything. You know, if you go second in normal, you're at an advantage because you can react and you can react with your whole army, but at least the first army has the chance to best defend itself. Originally I was going to bring Iron Hills to this tournament, which are one of my favourite armies, so I used them all the time. But I always use an Iron Hills Ballista, and with this scenario setup I would only have 3 warbands, which means he'd only have to have an equal or greater amount of warbands. So he'd just walk on, go into base contact with the Ballista, which I couldn't prevent, and it'd be eliminated immediately, and that's 90 points gone. Which you can't just lose 90 points before anything happens. So that was why I had to change my army, and I proved why this new format doesn't work, because I had more warbands in this gen. He only had 3, and basically Eowyn came on this little corner here, so I brought Narzug on here with his warband and Fimble on here and trapped it, and his other 2 warbands came on elsewhere, and then I won the heroic move off in that turn, and that warband was just gone in 1 turn, and the entire warband gone. And then I sort of proceeded to sort of do the rest. He hit back really hard though. Obviously defense 4 is squishy. Sons of Ale are just absolute war trains when they get going. Even when they hadn't charged to attack strength 4, 6 I win, 200 rocks dead, 6 I win, 200 rocks dead. I shot Aemir off his horse as soon as he came on, charged into combat. I can't charge with those 100 rocks. He wins, 3 dead, no might needed. So I was 2 models off broken when the game ended. He didn't have much left at that point. The game was quite securely mine, but yeah, he hit back really, really hard. And it was a good, enjoyable game. It was quite quick, but he said he enjoyed it. He learnt a lot, which is what's important for new players. So kudos to him. I'm really sorry about the names. I haven't had a lot of sleep this weekend, as I'm sure you can appreciate. But it was fantastic, really good game. And then the final game, I played another new guy. And he had a similar Harad list to the first one I played. He had a Felbeast this time. It was the Shadow Lord on Felbeast, and then he had Suladan on foot, which is an odd choice. I think he learnt the value of mounts by the end of the game, and a Taskmaster, I think, and just a chieftain as well, like a normal captain. And it was domination, and there was lots of woods. And long story short, I used the wargs to my advantage and went straight up the flanks to get onto his back objectives and challenge them, and got into the combat quite quickly. I shot a couple of Hunter Orcs out of the Shadow Lord's combat, so he was at a loss to getting the hurls off, and I eventually managed to kill the Shadow Lord. I got the Felbeast quite early, which was nice, but unfortunately he charged a Hunter Orc and I failed to shoot it out of it, and he caught a heroic combat. And he won, got a hurl off, charged into another Hunter Orc near my general. He didn't go for my general for some reason. He might not have seen him. Nars was obviously quite subtle with the Hunter Orcs. So he just charged a low-learn Hunter Orc, and the Felbeast had taken a wound previously. And he lost the fight to the Hunter Orc. And he was saying, do I each lose a point of might, sort of thinking to himself. And he decided not to, because the chance of, I'd have to get double 5. with the Hunter Orc to kill the Fell Beast, so he sort of weighed up the risks and went, meh, I'll let you have it. As Karma would have it, the Hunter Orc went, okay, dead Fell Beast, which was good for me, bad for him. And again, it was quite a bloody game. We were literally sort of taking handfuls of models off at a time each, which is always it's good fun. Herad's a really good matchup for the Hunter Orcs, because in the combat, you know, whoever wins dies, and it's amplified in this because it's the same for both sides. Now, if you play sort of Gondor or Dwarves against Hunter Orcs, if the Hunter Orcs win, they have got a reasonable chance of killing the Dwarves, but the Dwarves will, you know, kill the Hunter Orcs every time. Whereas this, both armies were just splattered everywhere. It was absolutely brutal and really close. But I managed to take that. I had all the objectives when the game ended, and I think I failed to kill the Shadow Lord in the end. But I neutered him, and he didn't do anything to Narzug. So I won that one 8-2, and that was the end of day one. That was really good fun. We then had a presentation from the SBG team, which was really cool. Obviously, the magazine that you can get. You need to contact Tom Harrison. This is a shameless plug, because I love those guys. And I'd recommend it's donation based. It's not for profit at all. And it's a magazine dedicated to SBG. So they talk about tactics, what armies you can take, and the probability of dice is used in this book. And that's a really interesting read. It might change your opinion of certain armies and how best to increase your chances of winning fights, etc. So we had a presentation from them, sort of how they put the magazine together, a bit of a Photoshop school as well, which is really interesting. It's not something I'll ever be able to do, especially to the level they do it. I mean, I've got an A-level in media. I really enjoyed it at school, but like what they turn out in this magazine, you would think it was like a professional company. It's fantastic, and I'd recommend buying it. And then following that, we had a pub quiz, which we won, which is really cool. I was really happy about that. And we all got like an old source book, some of the old, you know, like the Fall of Arnor and Khazad-dûm and things like that, where they dished out these as prizes. And I saw from the distance, walking up to the stage, the War of the Ring rule book, which is about this big. And I've wanted to get my hands on it for ages, because I've never played the War of the Ring before. It's like a mass unit version of The Hobbit, where it's a bit like fantasy, old fantasy, with the sort of movement traits and things. Really, really cool. So I managed to get my hands on that book, so I'm going to be doing some War of the Ring back reps on this channel as well soon. So that was really good. And again, we had some drinks and we were up far too late, etc. And then we went into day two. There was only 2 games for everyone except the top table. I played Barney Menzies, one of my good friends from Nottingham again. One of the toughest games I've ever played. I've played Barney 3 times and beaten him 3 times, but every single game has been, you know, on a knife edge, which is it's what you want. I'd rather have a close win than a stomp, because it's much more challenging. It's more rewarding when you do win. Barney had taken his usual Isengard, so it was Saruman, lots of berserkers, lots of crossbow pikes, and it was Vrasku. And then in this army, he'd taken a Taskmaster and some Morannon Orcs and Orc Spears as well. His deployment wasn't great. We're playing heirlooms, and he sort of didn't roll the dice that he wanted to, and mine were okay. I had, by the turn 3, again it was the you go I go restrictions. I had more warbands, so I kind of had the advantage a little bit. My dice weren't great, I was kind of all over the place, but the warbands I wanted were where they were supposed to be. When it got to turn 3, I had wargs on 5 out of the 6 objectives. And I had sort of 1, 2, 3 at the back of the board, and all the fighting was up here in the front. And I had 1 warg here, and I was like, I really don't want it to be this one. So I'll do that one first and hope it's not a 6. Which is, I was like, no. It was like I'd rather not have the prize than have that warg pick it up. And it became a real fight then. The rest of my warbands were catching up as he sort of steamrolled a warband at a time. I managed to sort of get my guys in front just in time. And we agreed it was going to be the last turn with 5 minutes to go, because we knew that we were going to be, we're going to have to concentrate in this turn, and no one's a fan of time wasting. So I think we both agreed, like, we'll just take our time on this turn and this will be it, because the game was that close. There was no advantage to be gained by either party for the game ending quicker or going longer. It was, this was the turn. And I think I was 4 off broken. Yeah, and I had the prize, and the Warg had the prize, and he kept compelling the Warg to bring it back, kept immobilising the Warg, and eventually I had 3 models trapping the Warg, so it couldn't be sent away, sent closer to him, and the fighting was really, really bloody. I'd had poor luck in the game earlier on. We both had poor luck. It was a game of really terrible dice, but he went 4 turns unchecked. He slaughtered my models and didn't lose a single model for 4 turns, and that's in combat. It was really, really brutal. But in the turns sort of towards the end, I got the lion's share of the kills and I really hit him back. But in the final turn, his first action, it was to Sorcerous Blast the Wild, the prize. And he cast it, and if he'd have rolled a 5, it would have been out of reach for any of my models to go and pick up. But he rolled a 4, which was enough because of the wild space where he went and dropped the prize. There was another model sort of within 6, and he killed the wild, and the prize was dropped. And if he'd rolled one more, I think he'd have won, or it would have been a draw, because he wouldn't have had the prize. But I got to keep the prize. He broke me. He broke me with the Sorcerous Blast, so he got the VPs for that. But then, unfortunately for him, he failed to kill Narzug. He had a Taskmaster that struck higher and a Berserker going 2-handed against Narzug just to get some VPs. And he won the fight and then rolled a 2 highest, which is just horrendous. So I won that 6-1, and that was, honestly, if he'd have rolled that 5, he'd have won the game, and that would have been bad for me. So that put me on 4 wins, and I was then playing J. Clare in the final game on table 3. So if I'd have won that game, there was a small chance that I would have gone into the final round or placed 3rd, depending on VPs. So it was really close, and I was happy with how I'd done. I was really happy with how I placed, with what I'd taken. And Jay stomped me. It was absolutely horrendous. It was to the death in the new version where you deploy 12 inches on. He had his Lake Town, 52 models, same as mine, 12 bows to my 23, but he had Gandalf for Blinding Light, and all the little tricks as well. So he had Bard's 2 daughters to make him fight 6 in a free heroic combat. He had Bane, which benefits from the same thing. Alfred for the Might Store. And he won the roll off for board edges as well, which is really unfortunate. And he picked one side, and for me to get to him I had to sort of traverse around 3 Citadel Woods of difficult terrain, and his dice for the first couple of turns were on fire. By the time I got to him, he'd killed either 15 or 17 models. For a normal army, that would he'd be broken at that point, or at least near 2. But I mean, at 52, when we had equal model count, he had slaughtered me at this point. When we started in deployment, where it was lots of Citadel Woods and also some sort of like mud hut type things, like an orc encampment. And I deployed one of my captains with the banner bearer behind one of these houses right at the back of the board, because I knew that those were 2 VPs that I would have at the end of the game, regardless of how it went. After I'd lost so many models, I then retreated Narzug as well, because at this point I wanted to deny him VPs for the team tournament, which I'll move on to. So by the time I'd lost as many models, I'd lost all faith in winning the game, all faith. But I could deny him from scoring 5 VPs, if I kept them safe. The combats clashed. Bard was on fire again. I mean, fight 6 with 3 heroic combats, he's just legendary. But I won the next roll off, charged all of his stuff, and I hit back like a ton of bricks. Over 2 turns. Over the 1 turn, I killed almost every single warrior of his with shield. So that all that was left was like juicy defense 4 models for the Hunter Rocks to rip through. And it came to a point where he needed to make a decision. He was going to break me. He had broken me at this point. And he was going to come for the general. And so he marched and moved, and got close, and Narzug retreated. And it was a point where I was trying to quarter myself before he got there. And as it happened, we got to the final turn, the big one, and I was quartered to courage tests and things, so it was the last turn. If I killed 4 models of his, he'd be broken. Again, just VPs for me. And that, I don't know if I don't think I'd have won, because I was broken. I would have broken him, so that would have been 3 points each. He would have got 2 points for being 25%ed. I'd have got 2 points for having the banner, so it would have been a 5-all draw, if all had gone well. I didn't have the upper hand in the fight, still killed 4, but it was possible and feasible. It wasn't a ludicrous thing. He'd run Bard away, so one of the militia would fight 2, so I had higher fight and had more attacks. But unfortunately, his dice were better than mine. Narzug was outside of 10 of Bard, so he couldn't charge. And there was a Warg in the way, it's like a bit of a sort of movement restrictor. And Gandalf moved forward again, compelled Narzug, only on a 4+. I had a might point in the bank, and I had a will to resist. So I only needed 3+, and I'd have got a draw, had the chance of a draw, or a 5-2 loss. Rolled a 1 again. So he got pulled out, Bard smashed him, killed him, and I failed to kill the 4 models, so he won 10-2. And those 2 VPs were really important, which I'll come on to. So as far as my input on the GT happened, all games were enjoyable. I didn't not enjoy any of my games. I think Jay and Ardacon both agreed that dice helped them win quite nicely, but by no means did they. They still won and they deserved to win their games. But if you only lose 2 games over a tournament, and those 2 games are to arguably probably the best 2 players I'd say in the world, certainly in the UK, the best 2 players, I'm okay with that. I was 3rd in the league behind them for a little while, and I've sort of dropped. I think I'm 6th or 7th now. But that's the way it goes. That's fine. I can deal with that. So then there was the final game for the 1st and 2nd place, and they were going to have a big playoff. Now this is where it comes into the team. As you notice, I'm wearing my Wanderers shirt. We renewed our team this year, the Wanderers in the Wild. We lost Harry Moore this year, he couldn't make it. So it was myself, Jamie Giblin, Adam Troke, Damien Byrne, Tom Harrison, Callum Edens, and Mark Stone. I think it was just 7. I hope I haven't missed anyone, because that would be really embarrassing. We'll go with 7. 7 sounds right. Yeah, we'll go with 7. And we did quite well. We were matching team knots all the way through. We sort of win for win. And the big swing that did it, the Wanderers were 8 points ahead after day 1, which is nothing really. And then day 2 on the draw, there was 4 Wanderers versus Team Knots games. So this was the one that was going to do it. Whoever got the lion's share of the lost 1. They won 1 and lost 3. We won 3 of the 4 matchups. And the 2 VPs that I denied Jay from scoring put Tom Harrison ahead of him, which put Tom Harrison into the final game against Dave Reed. Unfortunately, that didn't go the way we wanted it. Dave Reed won the game. Well done to Dave, though. Couldn't think of, if I wasn't Team Wanderers, I couldn't think of a better person to win the tournament, because he's an awesome guy and he has played long enough and got enough podiums to deserve winning a tournament. He's an amazing player, and he won every single game. Won 7 games out of 7 at probably the most competitive tournament the UK has in the calendar. So very well done to Dave Reed. Commiserations to Tom. So the top 3 were Dave Reed in 1st place, Tom Harrison in 2nd, and Jay Clare took the 3rd place trophy, which I think I could have won if I'd have won our game, VPs allowing. Our category, we won the team event, so we all got a gold sort of medal, which was the one we really wanted. We wanted to win the team tournament, and we got a 2nd place from Tom, and Tom, Damien and Callum Edens all won the best in category for their army lists, so they were the most successful with their armies. I missed out on best Hobbit Evil to Andreas the Norwegian Viking. With Smaug, he did really well. He won scenarios that he had no business winning with 1 model, but fair play to the guy. He beat me by 4 VPs, I think, to take the Hobbit Evil. So we would have had four category trophies: the team championship and a second place if we'd have got that. So a really, really good shift by the Wanderers. Cracking effort. It was a fantastic tournament. I had a really, really good time. I've got no gripes whatsoever. The feedback is going to be wholly positive, with the exception of the changes to Maelstrom. But you know, it's an experiment. It worked. It worked for some people. I got maximum efficiency out of it both times, but I still agree that that's not the way to fix Maelstrom, for those who don't like it. But other than that, the tournament was absolutely sensational. I am getting married on October the 7th, and weddings are quite expensive, as I'm sure most people will know. So I'd written off Ardacon, and I decided I couldn't afford it. And James Braund and some of the Knox guys all chipped in to sort out my accommodation. So thank you very much to you guys. You're really, really good set of lads, and some of my best friends, which is why you're coming to the wedding. And one of the Canadians who wasn't able to attend the event had bought a few tickets to help out anyone that couldn't make it, and I managed to pick up one of those tickets. I think it was Adam Marcel. If I'm wrong, I will find out who it is and you'll be getting a message from me. But if it is Adam, thank you very much. It's a really kind thing to do, and the tickets weren't cheap. So it is purely by the kindness of strangers that I was able to go to the event, and some help from some really good mates as well. So that's my sort of Ardacon rundown. It was an amazing tournament. Guild Ball were there. The Games Workshop guys were there. So Steam 14 Games Workshop at the convention, selling stuff, doing sort of trial games. There was photo opportunities to dress up in some armour, which was quite fun. There was a couple of scenery guys there, which had made some amazing sculptures of Barrel Out of Bond, Lake Town and Rivendell. Absolutely stunning. You can't even comprehend how they managed to do it, because it looked almost photorealistic. It was amazing. And a couple of other stores. Generation Shift was there with his awesome bases. It was an amazing convention, really, really good weekend. I can't wait for next year. I was, as I said, with the first year, there was a lot of feedback and a lot of work that needed doing. And James absolutely knocked it out of the park this year. It was absolutely brilliant. I would struggle to pick a better tournament, I think, after what that pulled out this year. I can't wait till next year. The Wanderers are going to be obviously teaming up against, trying to defend our title. And that's it really. I haven't done a video for a while, so I thought I'd sort of share my views on it. If you haven't been to Ardacon, go to Ardacon. Honestly, the best tournament I've been to, I think. And that's quite a bold call, because I've been to a lot. But yeah, that's my video. Thanks very much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We haven't got many subscribers yet. I'd really appreciate it, and the more subscribers we get, the more videos we'll make. We've had a bit of a loo recently. We're all busy guys, me, Nathan and Jack. But we're gonna try and get back on the horse and get a lot more back reps out, in particular. A few babbles in bag end maybe. Toy talk. So babbles in bag end is Gethin Watkins team ups that we do. I think we've only done one, unfortunately, because of time. That's sort of like a round table discussion, and our equivalent, which is Toy Talk. So hopefully there's a lot more to come. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next video.